Also, connectivity, it determines the amount of absorption.
Do you carry a cell phone? Do you use one?
Sometimes, but like I say, around here, 8 hours a day, I don't get to use
but
them.
you feel safe using it?
Not a problem.
All right.
I don't
That's
see
all
a
I
problem.
wanted to know.
Right.
So this is our anechoic chamber, and I thought you'd really be interested in it. This is stuff we used to do outside. Now we have this great sealed chamber. Why don't you go ahead and have a little look in there for me while you're at it? You know?
Rashmi Doshi, now tell me about this room that we're in.
This is an exciting facility for us. We just built it. It's called an anechoic chamber. This allows us to do very sensitive testing that FCC gets called upon quite often to determine in terms of interference, RF radiation, and others. What this facility allows us to do is to really do sensitive emission testing in a controlled environment.
You just built it.
It's just built.
This is your new toy.
We've only actually used it for about one week. These tiles will absorb most of the energy from 30 to a couple hundred megahertz, maybe a little higher. Yeah. But when you get up to higher frequencies, the tiles sort of drop off a little bit in their absorbing capability.
So you need a short wavelength.
So you go to these shorter ones.
Yeah.
So they'll take us all the way up to 1,000 megahertz.
So this antenna is receiving any RF coming from the device you're testing.
Device, right. We're testing to see that it meets our limits for the amount of energy it's putting out at its fundamental frequency and any harmonics and spurious. We have limits on devices.
So it doesn't interfere with radio broadcast.
Right, so it doesn't cause interference.
Fascinating stuff. Especially the broadband over power line. I think that's really good, exciting technology.
Yeah, it's a real breakthrough. We're looking forward to that.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate the tour. My pleasure.
My pleasure.
All right,
Good to
see
see
you guys later.
Thanks for having me here.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Leo and Patrick are going to take you on a tour of the new National Air and Space Museum. That's when the Screensavers in Washington, D.C. special continues.
So, you think you missed the opportunity to get a great low rate on a new home loan? Not at Dytech? To the purchase out of your home and lower your monthly payments at rates you thought you missed. Low rates fixed for 5 years and low monthly payments from Dytech.com. Call 1-800-DYTECH-1 or log on to Dytech.com. Dytech.com. Speed guaranteed.
I have important information on how you can earn more money in the IT industry. Right now, businesses are desperate to hire certified IT professionals to secure their networks. You can fulfill this demand and make a great salary by getting IT certified now with Smart Certified Direct's fast and easy training courses. Their self-paced online training for MCSE, Cisco, and A+ certification allows you to study whenever and wherever you want, with 24-hour access to certified instructors, all with a 100% money-back certification guarantee. And right now, you can take a free training course title by visiting www.smartcertifieddirect.com or by calling 1-877-TRAINING and mentioning code TECHTV. There's no other obligation. That's on the web at www.smartcertifieddirect.com or toll free at 1-877-TRAINING. Get your free course today.
At Progressive, we think shopping for car insurance should be easy. That's why at Progressive.com, we give you our direct rate for car insurance and the rates of our competitors. So it's easy to get the right policy at a great price.
We can help you save money, even if it's not with us.
For over 65 years, we've been changing the way people think about car insurance. See for yourself at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Think easier. Think Progressive. At Progressive, we think car insurance claims should be easy. That's why we assign you a dedicated claims representative to help you from start to finish, so you always know what's going on with your claim. We even guarantee repairs for as long as you own your car. For over 65 years, we've been changing the way people think about car insurance with great rates and personal helpful claim service. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Think easier. Think Progressive.
G4 TV for gamers and Tech TV are connecting to 4 Tech TV. Stay connected. For more information, go to g4techtv.com or call 1-800-839-7880.
The screensavers have come to Washington, D.C., and Patrick Norton is at the new Space Museum.
So say you run a museum, and somebody gives you a space shuttle, and you've got nowhere to put it. Well, if you're the Smithsonian, you build a new National Air and Space Museum to house it and thousands of the artifacts they have no room for. There's a tremendous facility. There's a huge hangar. It's still less than 1/3 of the Smithsonian's Air and Space collection is on display.
Oh, that's correct. One of the things that we wanted to do by building this was to allow more of our artifacts to go on display. There's about 3,000 space artifacts and probably about 25,000 aeronautical artifacts.
What's your favorite display in the new museum?
Oh, in the new museum, without a doubt, it's the Enterprise. I mean, it is a stunning artifact. In the 1970s, 1977 to be exact, they made several flights off of the back of a 747. To see how this vehicle would perform in the atmosphere and take it in for a landing. And it was an interesting experience, a little hairy according to the pilots who were involved.
It must have been, kind of the luckiest test pilots in the program and probably the most nervous test pilots. This has actually been in storage for quite some time. It just recently has been brought out for display. What's going on here? Because you actually is it restoration or is it more of a cleaning?
Yeah, we're basically doing a wash job on it at this point. It's got, 15 to 19 years of grime on top of it. It's important then that we give it a good scrubbing. And then there's a paint job that we've got to do as well.
The Enterprise is in this room. What else is going to populate the display in this room?
We've got some really cool stuff that's going in here. We've got a whole suite of rockets and rocket engines. We're going to have a whole series of space science artifacts that will be everything from Mariner 10, which is one of the Mariner missions. It's a prototype that went to Mars. The Pathfinder prototype that landed on Mars in 1997. We're going to have a human spaceflight component where we have not only Enterprise but also a Mercury, a Gemini, and Apollo capsules on display. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our space theme continues now with Leo and the first man to orbit the Earth, John Glenn.
Senator Glenn, thank you for joining us.
Glad to. Thank you.
It's a real honor to meet you. Do you remember when you first got interested in flight?
Oh, yeah. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, my dad, there was a plane that was taking people up for rides. Open cockpit, the Waco airplane, open cockpit. My dad wanted to know if I wanted to go up. And so he and I went up together and flew around Cambridge, Ohio for maybe 15 minutes. And looking down up there 2,000 or 3,000 feet up, whatever we were, I was hooked at that time.
Looking back now on your space experience, of course, you've been up twice. Of course, the first man to orbit the Earth, and then in 1998 on the shuttle. What do you come away with? Not merely memories, but just your thoughts about what it all means.
Well, I think what you have to realize between those two flights, the whole purpose of the space program has changed. It's now oriented toward research, basic research. And that's what they're doing on the shuttle. We had 83 different research projects on the shuttle on the second flight I made in the fall of 1998.
That's a lot of work.
And a lot of work is right, 83 different projects, but there were 7 of us on the flight. I was alone on the first flight.
That's right.
But there were 7 of us, and so it split up well. And the scientists, we had briefed with all the scientists on all these different projects that they were going to have on there. And to me, that's one of the greatest values of the space program is the research return that's done there that has a value right here on Earth.
Do you think the Mars mission is important?
Oh, I think it's important to set a goal like that. I've always thought that going to Mars sometime was sort of understood that we would have that as a goal sometime. I think it's good to set a goal like this and so that we start maybe working toward that. But I don't want to see that done at the expense of cutting out the other research on the station that will be of value, I think, right here on Earth. It's a very unique laboratory. For instance, I'll give you a good example on this. They were curious about flames. Here on Earth, of course, you light a candle, flame goes up. Right. That's because of convection of the air when it's heated. Up there, though, they light a wick up there, and the flame just sort of goes out like this in a ball, or the burning area, and they found that that in some of the study of the soot in this burning pattern now, they were able to keep combustion going with only about an 8% fuel-air ratio, and your automobile engine runs 70% fuel-air ratio. Now, the combustion experts are very interested. That's the kind of thing you can't foresee in advance.
Right.
It was a surprise to everybody that this thing happened up there.
Right.
And yet it may be of tremendous value right here on Earth.
Well, certainly a lot of surprises in space. I was looking over here at Alan Shepard's Freedom 7. Is that pretty similar to the Friendships that you flew?
The size of it and everything's identical. The instrumentation and some of that was a little bit different for the orbital flight.
It's amazing. That's such a small
Well, it wasn't very
space.
big. Well, that's as big as we could put up at that time.
Right.
We were limited in the size of the spacecraft because we were better technically in some other areas than the Soviets.
They had bigger spacecraft.
They had bigger spacecraft, but we were limited by the size of the booster that could lift us up there. And our boosters and the Soviets had been designed to deliver ICBMs.
Right.
Well, we had been better than they were in miniaturizing nuclear weapons.
So we had smaller rockets.
Boosters, yeah.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Then when it came time for the manned program, why, we were saddled with a smaller booster, so that's the size we were limited to back then. And the Soviets at that time, of course, had a great big booster because they had not been as good.
Right.
Their booster was designed for great big nuclear weapons.
See, sometimes it's better not to be as far advanced. Well, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. I thank you so much, Senator Glenn, for joining us, and what an honor.
Still to come, Pat sees how the NTSB unravels the mystery of plane crashes using technology. And up next, it's Kevin and the new crash test dummies when the Screensavers continues.
Give me the money. Get it.
Sorry, man. Oh, I feel terrible.
Oh, no, it's on me, sir.
I bet you like an autograph, huh?
Whatever.
Yeah, I can't believe it's me either.
We see Sophie designing, dreaming, making her name, turning a crazy idea into the latest craze. We see her potential. We're inspired to create software that helps her reach it.
What are you doing?
Shopping.
The one you want. Right now, get 10% off or 18 months no interest on all TVs $4.99 and up. Like this Hitachi 46-inch high-def widescreen with built-in DVD player, just $15.99.99 before discount or financing. Only at Circuit City.
I've done a lot, but I just did something I never thought I could do. I took my first flying lesson for $49. It was fun and it was easy thanks to a great flight instructor. All it took was $49 and the free certificate from Be a Pilot.
Try flying for just $49 with your certificate from Be a Pilot. Call 888-BE-A-PILOT or log on to beapilot.com.
Surprise yourself, expand your world, and discover flying.
I can't believe I owe this much money.
How did it get this bad?
2 jobs, and I'm only paying the minimum. I'm just not getting ahead.
Now I'm even scared to answer the phone in our own home. Disconnect notice? Could things get any worse? Where's the light at the end of my tunnel?
Community Credit Counseling Corporation understands, and we can help you solve your problems. One simple phone call to us can help take the creditors off your back and let you begin the rest of your life. We're an accredited, nonprofit agency. We'll help reduce your repayment time by up to 75% and lower those high interest rates to as little as 0%.
Finally, I'm on the road to reestablishing my credit and my life.
Whether you owe thousands or hundreds of thousands in credit card debt, call the toll-free number on your screen for more information. Call now. Get your life back.
Euphoria, the award show for gamers, is starting soon.
Welcome back to the Screensavers in Washington, D.C. Now, Kevin's at the Vehicle Research Center with some real dummies. Kevin?
Remember the phrase, you can learn a lot from a dummy? Well, times have changed, and so has the technology. I'm here at the Vehicle Research Center right outside of Washington, D.C. And we're going to take a look at how crash test dummies and technology are making vehicles safer. I'm here with Dave Zuby, Vice President of the Research Center here. Tell me, what do you do here?
Well, this is the Vehicle Research Center of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. It was built so that we could run crash tests of cars to assess how well they protect people in crashes.
Excellent. Let's go crash some cars.
Crash some cars.
Tell me exactly what we have going on here. What is this device?
One of the tools we use to position the dummy and also to take vehicle structure measurements is a coordinate measurement machine. These cameras are set to run at 500 frames per second. So we have one frame every 2 milliseconds or every 2,000ths of a second during the crash.
Now, what are all these wires down here on these two end devices?
These two devices are some of the most important parts of this crash. These are our two data acquisition units for each of the dummies. Each of these cables represents one data channel for each of the dummies. For example, here we have one of the cables to one of the sensors on the dummies that collects rib accelerations for the dummy.
Wow.
Here we have head acceleration. So we have about 38 channels per dummy that are being collected, each at 10,000 frames per second.
These guys are just finishing up. I'm going to let them get back to work and head up to the observation deck.
Crash machine checklist complete?
Yes, it is. Charging is complete. Test will begin in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. We are on the way.
Raul, what exactly are we collecting now? What's going on?
Okay, we have connected this computer to the data acquisition system on the vehicle that recorded data for both dummies and some vehicle acceleration data. Here on the computer screen we can see head acceleration curves, rib deflections, different data channels for each of the dummies. This looks pretty good for this dummy.
Well, that's it for today. We crashed a couple cars, had a little fun, but kids, listen. These are highly trained professionals. Please don't try this at home.
Next, from cars to planes, Patrick pays a visit to the folks that keep them safe, the National Transportation and Safety Board.
We're here at the National Transportation Safety Board to learn about flight data recorders, the black boxes that are actually orange, and how the information gets from the box onto the screen so you can actually analyze it and figure out what happened when you have an event. Casey, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Hi, thank you.
So how long have planes been required to have flight data recorders on them?
They were required in 1961, 1962 to have recorders, and the first recorders on airplanes were the foil recorders. They only had 5 parameters were recorded, and they were scratched onto the actual foil. And then it got moved to solid state, the computer chips.
Is this another example of one of the boards? Or?
Yes, this is a newer example of a flight data recorder.
I noticed what almost looks like a SCSI jack. Is that where the information actually gets pulled out or transferred?
Yes.
Can we look at what the process looks like?
Sure, no problem.
So do they all pretty much have the same connector and software for the downloads? Or?
Now, each recorder has, from the manufacturer, has different cables for downloading the data, and they each have their own software. Plug it in, and we have the power on, and then we download the data.
What are we looking at here?
Well, when we get download the flight data recorder, you have zeros and ones, and you need to turn that data into engineering units. And this is an example of a plot of data from an event. This is actual data off of the recorder, and this is a tape-based recorder. And this is a 1, and this would be a 0. And what you have down here is you have 1 second of data. The data starts with the sync code, a unique word. So this is word 1. And you have a full second. It starts here and it ends all the way down here.
So how many of these do you typically look at in a year?
In a year, my group can read out about 100 flight data recorders.
And that's not all accidents, is it?
No, there are events like maybe a turbulence encounter, a hard landing, an engine anomaly, and they're interested in what happened. Nobody got hurt.
How do you actually create a chart?
Yeah, typically we'll start with a blank plot, and then we will go up and bring up the parameter that we have inputted into the decoding file.
So next we can see actually what happens when you've rendered all this out, created a 3D model.
We can take the data from the flight data recorder, the engineering units, and make an animation.
Is this a 3D rendering of a captured set of data from a flight data recorder?
Yes.
Is that actually the pilot speaking up there?
Yeah, that's from the cockpit voice recorder. Legally, we can't have the audio from the cockpit voice recorder, but we can put the transcript that's been released to the public on an animation. So what you see here are the instruments, and this is all being run by the flight data recorder. And the way the aircraft moved is data from the flight data recorder. So it's much easier to visualize what is happening, and you can take in so much more of the data when you have an animation.
So, National Transportation Safety Board, we've seen how to get the data off the flight recorder. Who knows what's coming up next?
Stay with us. Kevin takes a bullet to see how quickly it can be stopped.
I'm ready.
And Leo goes shopping with FCC Chairman Michael Powell. But after the break, I'll show you how they preserve and protect the U.S. Constitution when the Screensavers continues.
Romantic.
Want to warm things up?
Trojan Man. Looks like you two were about to bump the buoy. Well, here's the new Trojan Warm Sensations condom.
Warm?
Yes. Cool. A moisture-activated lubricant creates a warming sensation both can share.
I'm on board.
Warm Sensations only from Trojan, America's most trusted condom.
Tropical, dude.
The pleasure you want, the protection you trust. My job is done here.
Surf's up.
Flip it this summer. Rent as many games as you want.
Flip it.
For as long as you want. Play a game, then flip it for a new one. Flip it with the new Blockbuster Flip card. Rent it, play it, flip it. $49 is all you pay for 3 months of unlimited gaming. Game all summer for less than the price of the hottest new games. So get to Blockbuster now and
flip it.
Rent the hottest games today, like Van Helsing. Play it, then flip it for Siphon Filter, the Omega strain, at Blockbuster now.
At CDW, we ship over 100,000 IT products to customers every day. So how can we do it even faster? One word: wormholes.
Need security fast? CDW and McAfee Web Shield appliances can stop threats before they enter your network. Now get a free spam killer with your purchase.
Now I just need to figure out that whole space-time continuum thing.
For top-brand IT products shipped out fast, you can always count on CDW for the right technology right away.
I started a traditional college, thought it wasn't fast enough. So I switched gears to ITT Tech and got 2 bachelor degrees. In my job, people come to me with new problems. I have to quickly adapt to new technologies, and it's never the same day twice. ITT Tech has helped me meet my goals a lot faster. The instructors are willing to help whenever I need. All I had to do is ask. Pretty soon, I'll be pursuing my master's. I like mountain biking, riding my motorcycle, and going out cruising the country with my son. I believe there's more out there to achieve, and I want to keep getting further.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-327-1172 or visit us on the web. Earn a bachelor degree in digital entertainment and game design, one of today's exciting new career fields. Call 1-800-327-1172 to apply.
G4 Tech TV. Stay connected. For more information, go to g4techtv.com.
Welcome back to this very special edition of the Screensavers. I'm Sarah Lane. In this half hour, Patrick gets to see the coolest network in the world at the National Security Agency. And Kevin's at the Honeywell Ballistic Lab, where stopping bullets is a primary mission. But first, let's see how the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are being preserved and protected. You think hacking into computers is hard? Try hacking into the U.S. Constitution. Since 1776, the history behind the survival of the Declaration of Independence is amazing. These documents have recently been re-encased and protected by a team at the United States Archives. They've mixed technology with simplicity to make sure their symbolism will last forever. I'm standing in front of the Declaration of Independence. If you can make it out, we're looking at the original John Hancock signature. However, this document is fading fast. It's obviously important to preserve. So has anyone ever tried breaking in here?
Never.
I won't either. I'm here with Darlene McClurkin, exhibition specialist at the National Archives. Darlene, what is it that you do exactly here?
Well, I work on the curatorial staff, and every morning I come into the rotunda and check our exhibit cases, make sure everything looks good. And in some of the cases we have hygrometers, which are little meters that record the relative humidity and the temperature.
And why is it so important to keep that range so specific?
That's what our conservation staff here at the National Archives has deemed is appropriate for these textual records.
I think it's time we go talk to some of these conservators and see how they actually do it. I'm here with Kitty Mickelson, who's the senior curator at the National Archives. We're actually in one of their labs right now, and we're looking at a model of an encasement. Kitty, what exactly do you do here?
I was part of a very small team that did conservation treatment on the Constitution, the Declaration, the Bill of Rights.
Wow.
And what we have here is a corner model of the encasement of those documents. Each single leaf is displayed in the rotunda, which you saw this morning.
That's right. So all of the beautiful displays that you can get close but you can't touch, this is what it would look like if we cut it up into a piece.
Right. This is only a quarter of the whole thing. There's a central passage that's clear here, and that's actually used to allow a light beam to travel a W-shaped path. It goes in, there's a window. You see a cutaway of one of two sapphire windows. A light beam can be hooked up to go in one window. It bounces a W path through 3 different mirrors and goes out the second window.
So these beams are measuring what kind of humidity is inside?
Correct. And whether any oxygen has leaked in. The environment that we filled these encasements with is argon gas. It's an inert gas with a certain amount of humidity. We want to make sure the humidity doesn't go beyond the range that we want, and we want to make sure no oxygen has leaked in. So this is a way to determine that without opening.
With conservators like Kitty, we can rest assured that the Charters of Freedom will remain preserved through the years. Now, as promised, here's Kevin with a bulletproof story.
Whether you're in the armed forces, undercover CIA, or just work at your local Quickie Mart, you may be in need of a bulletproof vest. They're getting lighter, stronger, and a little less expensive, and Honeywell is one of the companies leading this field. So we're here to see just exactly what they do. I want to learn about bulletproof vests today, and I see that we have a lot of stuff laid out here on the table. Get really geeky with me. Can you tell me how this stuff all works?
Well, first of all, we have to start with a fiber. And the fiber is Spectra fiber, one of the world's strongest fibers. And when I say strong, if you take a strand of this material and you try to break it, it will take around somewhere between 70 and 100 pounds of strength to be able to break this.
How do you develop a material like this?
It comes from taking ethylene, which comes from oil, and polymerizing it, which is how you make plastics. Well, the key around this material is that it is ultra-high molecular weight, which means that the chain is very, very long.
So this is what is wound into this material here. It actually eventually becomes this?
Well, then what we take is, you take this fiber, which you can see is made out of a lot of individual
little
fibers.
hairs almost like.
Okay? Now the key is to be able to take these and you can spread them across in a web. And then take that web and cross-ply it, fuse them together. Then you can make this material, which we call Spectra Shield.
Now is this what actually goes inside the bulletproof vest then?
Yes, but I'm going to correct you. You can't call anything completely bulletproof.
Okay.
But certainly bullet resistant.
How many layers do you have in a plate that typically goes in one of the larger plates that's fixed to the chest?
Well, this one is 37 layers, which is equivalent to this. But this plate is made out of a ceramic face to break up the armor-piercing round. But the key is to have the Spectra Shield in the backing so that it disperses the energy.
Tell me what this can protect against.
Well, for typical soft armor, what you're looking at is giving you protection against handgun ammunition, such as we have the 9mm 357 Magnum here and 44 Magnum. The purpose of the test is to exploit any weakness that the armor may have.
We're shooting a SAPI plate. It's a small arms protective insert. This would be inside a vest that you would wear, and we're going to shoot it with a military round. It's called an M80 ball round, which is what's already loaded and aimed at the target. First, we're going to pull the red button, and now if you turn this black knob to the forward position, push the black button until you get this red light to come on. Okay. Turn this black back to reverse now. Push the button and you'll hear the noise.
All right, here we go.
And now we'll go see what kind of damage it did.
Let's do it. So this is rated for this type of round, so there's no way that this is going to penetrate the plate whatsoever.
That's the theory, yes. We're hoping. And all it did was leave a little dent.
Wow. So we just shot some material here.
This was shot with a 9mm.
Okay.
And what we can see here, ouch, is that the round was defeated. The bullet impacted the armor sample here, the Spectre Shield sample, and the energy was dissipated, but some of the energy also transfers through.
Excellent. Can we cut this open and actually dig the bullet out?
Sure. Yeah, the bullet there.
Oh, there it is.
And then we can dig it out.
Wow. Completely flattened.
And
That's
that was
amazing.
So that was stopped within about the first 5 to 10 layers of the pack here. And just to give you an example of what that looked like beforehand.
Before and after. Well, it looks like it did the job. Now, I got to ask you, I've had some computers that have been giving me some problems. I brought them in. Can we shoot those up?
I think we can arrange for that.
Nice. Let's do it. Ready.
Stay where you are. Patrick has an exclusive look inside the National Security Agency. But up next, Rio goes shopping with FCC Chairman Michael Powell. That's when the screensavers continue.
The best course, the best place for these. My son, Chris, let me call you back. I'm a little busy.
Now at Radio Shack, get an AudioVox 8600 color screen phone from Verizon Wireless for just $29.99 with 2-year agreement. Plus free in-network calling to any Verizon Wireless customer anytime, virtually anywhere from the national in-network coverage area.
Did I mention the best sport?
Radio Shack.
Ever wondered what it's really like to be a soldier?
What do you got? I have a sit rep from Alpha Company.
Ready to be verified!
Put yourself in the picture with this free video. You'll see over 200 great jobs in the Army and over 180 in the Army Reserve. You'll also see what skills you learn, how you can earn money for college, even what soldiers do in their free time. Call 1-800-984-ARMY now and get this free t-shirt and your free video. Put yourself in the picture and see what it's really like to become an Army of One.
Get 3 free for a limited time at Gateway. Pick up select wireless notebooks and we'll double your RAM, upgrade your hard drive, and ship it all for free. You can take home one of our award-winning PCs, like the Wireless 200X with Intel Centrino mobile technology, and get a mind-bending 512 megabytes of RAM, an upgrade to a massive 60-gig hard drive, and shipping all for free. So call Gateway today for your 3 free on select notebooks.
Dear Bill, it's nice to plan a trip just the way you like it. I enjoy making new friends. That's me on the left. I kept telling him, it's just a knock-knock joke, you big silly. Oh my word, moving on swiftly. I kept looking. When she promised to write, I should have known. Yours very fondly, the roaming gnome. Book with Travelocity. Don't forget your hat.
Euphoria, the award show for gamers, is starting soon.
It's happening all over the world, the digitalization of television, interactivity, on-demand television. It's got to be digital.
These used to be the big TVs that everybody wanted, and look at the price. I mean, $350.
But what's interesting, in this store alone, this is now only one aisle.
It's very confusing. There's just all these TVs. This one, why is this one bigger but $500 less than this one?
This one is enhanced television
Right.
at about 480 lines of resolution, and that's high definition at 1,080 lines of resolution. And if you're looking at the wrong source, they'll look the same.
On the stuff they're feeding it right now, it looks exactly the same.
But some content, that TV would blow that TV away.
Right. All right, so let's take a look at digital video recorders. TiVo, of course, the brand name, but there's Replay and Dish. Everybody, all the cable companies are doing it. The thing I don't get is why isn't TiVo taken off? I mean, everybody who has one, it's got the best word of mouth of any product in the world.
Yeah, I think it's poised to take off, but I think one of the reasons is that it's such a paradigm shift as to what it does.
Right.
It's very hard to explain to someone who doesn't have it what it really is.
Were you the first person you knew to have a TiVo?
No, unfortunately, my father beat me. The one technology he beat me on.
You got one first? Did he tell you?
He told me. That's where I first saw it.
So iPods, iPod accessories, MP3 players. That's another revolution. I mean, these portable music players.
I think this is a stunning breakthrough. I remember several years ago being in my front yard and having a neighbor who was a computer scientist yelling at me, "You listen to that music? That's called my computer," and I was shocked.
Whoa!
And he, that was the first place I had ever heard anyone say the word MP3.
You were telling me this is a pretty good device.
Well, one of the things I love about this is a perfect example. So you have this device that holds 4,000 songs.
Right.
Now you're carrying your entire personal personal audio life, and you want to be able to hear it in different formats.
Right.
So I carry usually different plugs. I can plug into speakers, plug into car stereos.
Right. Me too. Adapter
and I bought one of these recently as a way of traveling. It's really wonderful.
All right, I'm going to get one.
You got to get it while you're here.
You sold me on it. And it charges the thing and everything.
It charges it while it's in it,
yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's very cool.
I love it. I'm getting buying advice from Chairman of the FCC. I love that. You're big on voice on IP, I know.
We're very big on voice over IP.
This is one of the companies that's doing it. Actually, probably the most successful ones right now.
Probably is. I mean, in many ways, this display tells the story, right? Imagine the way you've thought about telephone service for the last, the whole extent of your life, and certainly for the last 100 years. You wouldn't imagine it as something you come in and buy a box off the shelf in a store,
right.
go home and plug it onto a broadband, and look, here's even some of their residential plans looking at, $35, $49 total, unlimited, and that's it. I think this is the killer app that a lot of broadband's been waiting for. I think this is the paradigm shift for all of communications. It's really going to break it open because voice and phone service have always been the driver of telecom policy, and if it's now data too, data is now going to surpass traditional analog is the way we look at policy.
I'm going to buy this.
You ought to get that.
Hey, if anything in this building, price is no object. G5 you could have anything in here. What would you take home?
Boy,
it's a tough choice.
Can you take the building and all the content?
Really?
No. I think that right now, if money were no object, it's time to get an HD TV.
Yeah.
It's time to get a beautiful 42-inch, 50-inch.
What's your wife going to let you get? The plasma, the LCD?
So flat screens are the best thing to happen to husbands everywhere because finally you can sell your wife on that picture frame over the mantle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
All right, let's go. I got to check out here.
All right, Leo.
If I spend any more time with you, I'm going from.
After the break, Patrick goes inside one of America's most secret buildings at the NSA after these messages.
Roswell, New Mexico, 1947. UFO wreckage is discovered and seized by military personnel. It is speculated that the alien technology recovered has been applied to modern-day innovations. To this day, the government denies any existence of alien technology.
Financing available on Alienware Systems.
Two of hip-hop's hottest stars are moving into America's most uptight neighborhood.
Sorry about the mess he's kicking it last night.
I
have no idea what that means.
And when you're living this large, only one thing can slow you down.
Hey, Mama. Hi, Mama.
Hi. Ah, that's what you get for smoking in the house.
Method and Red, but in the urban and suburban.
You hoochies better stay away from my meatloaf.
Meatloaf? Hoochies?
Premiering Wednesday, June 16th on Fox.
OLM.net presents more true tales from the World Wide Web.
At OLM, our web hosting customers say it best.
We started with another hosting company, and they couldn't care less about us.
We're a small business, and OLM treats us like family.
OLM was probably the best business decision we made for Snickerdoodle.com.
Become part of our family. Visit OLM today or call 1-877-2OLM-NET. Over 200,000 websites. OLM.net.
What's the best part of your home business?
Well, the money, the financial security, and the freedom.
The lifestyle, working when and where I want.
Not having a boss.
If you're not enjoying the benefits of a home-based business, then you're missing out on your share of an industry that's reaching $1 trillion.
I went to this website, filled in my personal interest, and their system matched me up with the perfect opportunity.
4 years ago, I had no job and over $200,000 in debt. I went to this website, and this year I should make over $250,000.
I got started only 11 months ago, and I'm up to $5,000 a month.
If you're considering a home-based business, this is the one website that you need to visit. They take all the fear out of getting started. All you need is a computer and the desire to succeed.
My goal for next year is $50,000 a month.
I never dreamed I'd be making $20,000 a month, but I am.
This wasn't one of those get-rich-quick schemes, but guess what? I did.
Go to this website and get started today. The best of your life is just a click away. So, go to your computer and log on to this website now.
With G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes, you could win a $100,000 tech makeover for your home, plus $500 daily cash prizes. From start to finish, bedroom to living room, we'll make over your home in the hottest tech stuff out there. To enter, watch G4 Tech TV anytime between 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. and look for the secret codes. Then log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs and enter the code. You can enter up to 4 times a day from June 14th to 27th. For more details, log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs. Brought to you by Circuit City and Yahoo.
Time now for some top secret screensavers. First up, Patrick spent some time with our friends at the NSA.
Screensavers in Washington, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe we're inside the building. We're here with the Director of Research, Dr. Hazeltine at the National Security Agency. Doctor, thank you so much for taking the time. Great pleasure to be here. So for those of us who aren't familiar with the NSA, what do you guys do here?
We have 2 missions. Our first mission is to collect electronic information as it moves from point A to point B outside the borders of the United States. Our other mission is to stop our adversaries from doing the same thing to us, because our job is to invent the future of the collection and protection of electronic information for the nation. And the biggest problem we have is connecting the dots. There are a lot of dots out there.
So you have a demo for us.
We have a demo. We're going to take you into our secret lab where we're doing all this magic. But first, you have to put your eye about 10 inches away from that eye scanner so that the computer will know who you are and let you in.
Why am I suddenly afraid?
We are sorry, you were not identified.
Oh, tough toenails, dude.
Identification successful. Access granted.
I shouldn't have worn the DEF CON t-shirt.
So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through a realistic scenario of the different kinds of intelligence from different networks that we might have to piece together today. So the first thing we're going to show you here is a conversation that we acquired. It just kind of fell into our lap, okay? And so we get a fragmentary piece of information, and here's what it says. Somebody, a civilian, is saying to another civilian, did you hear all those
delete expletive
bleep noise going down the goat path? So something's going on in the goat path. That by itself doesn't tell you a lot.
Right.
This is what we call signals intelligence. It's what we do. It's what we call SIGINT. We collect electronic signals as they're going from point A to point B, again, outside the United States.
Right.
And it says, flash, all military radio communications stopped at this point in time in this place.
So
it's the dog that didn't bark. Curiouser. This is what we call adversary intelligence. This is information we've gathered about bad guys from a source. And what this says is that we heard this source say to itself, hammer of steel is go, commence radio silence immediately. Well, that's interesting because we just heard radio silence.
So we know
Right.
the radio is silent. So something is going on.
Something's going on. Not only did we hear the dog not bark, we heard the dog's master telling the dog not to bark. And this is what we call electronic intelligence. And let's say that that has to do with emissions of a radar that might be carried by the enemy. And we get a report from collection that said a radar is active in an area. It turns out that this area, once you decode all the numbers, is kind of similar to the areas that we were just in.
So we've got silence where there was noise, we've got radio sounds, we've got armor movement, we've got the hammer of the gods, we've got natives reporting some weirdness going on.
Ah, but you just said armor movement. We heard heavy noises. We don't know that that's armor. But hold that thought.
Okay.
Okay. So over here, we continue. So now, the circumstantial evidence is mounting. We're starting to get some pretty good suspicions. And to add to the evidence, we have what we call satellite intelligence. And what this is saying is that an analyst has said there's troop movement at this time in this place. The last piece of information in the puzzle is starting to look pretty darn suggestive. You said armor?
Armor.
Turned out you guessed right. But you got to be careful in intelligence. Not to guess. Not to let your perceptions lead you down a wrong path. It could have just as easily been a bunch of garbage trucks.
That would be bad.
This is window number 1 from network number 1 and PC number 1. Number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, and 6. Once we provide secure partitions between these different data domains and networks to allow you to copy and paste across them.
Based on rights and permissions.
Right. Then the next step that we're working on right now, and we have it going in our laboratory in an experimental form, is to be able to safely move data from one of these networks and domains into another so that you can merge it all into a single report and say, hey, here's a troop movement at this place and this time, and here's what kind of enemy we've got. And that's basically what the tactical commanders want to know.
Is NetTop being currently deployed in various intelligence units? Is that the right phrase, intelligence units?
Intelligence units? It's the right phrase, but not the right question.
Okay, what's the right question?
Well, the right question is that we developed it to be deployed at intelligence agencies.
Got it.
But whether we have or not, I can't say.
Got it.
Thanks, Patrick. And now say, how did you get in there? We'll be back with more Screensavers Goes to Washington right after this.
Polite society tells us that it's rude to stare. But then along came the 2005 V6 Nissan Altima. With a new redesigned interior, a state-of-the-art navigation system and satellite radio, and a sleek, new refined exterior. So go ahead, stare. Frankly, it'd be rude not to.
I have a 1-year-old child, another one on the way. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. We have a very good quality of life. Going for my bachelor's degree was a personal goal. ITT Tech was well-rounded. There was a lot of what I consider soft skill type classes, which is very beneficial in my work. As the Director of Operations for Toll Service Group, I'm in charge of facilities maintenance as well as recruitment. I'd say 20 or more of the people that we've recruited are ITT Tech graduates. I had a lot of influence in that. One thing that I look in a resume is continuing education. What I learned at ITT Tech was how to learn. That's the fundamental element that I take away from my education. I feel that I exceeded my own expectations in that.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-327-1172 or visit us on the web. Earn a bachelor degree in digital entertainment and game design, one of today's exciting new career fields. Call 1-800-327-1172 to apply.
Saber 1-5, this is Bobcat 36 from what the enemy camp. Orders to effect as follows. Grid, Echo, Hotel, over. Overwatch. This is Code 2 in position. Over.
Pulse, next.
Well, gang, we've been all over this exciting city, our nation's capital. Any favorite moments? We did a lot.
NSA Wearing a DEF CON t-shirt, definitely my highlight.
That was bold, Patrick. That was very bold.
That was bold and stupid, but my favorite moment is also my status moment. That's when I saw the 2005 Jaguar totaled in front of my eyes.
Oh, you loved it.
Well, I wanted it. I was like, don't destroy it. Take my car. Put that up there.
How did the crash dummies hold up to that?
Not so well. There were some problems, but overall, actually, it was a pretty safe car.
Yeah, I like how the National Transportation Safety Board, they call crashes events.
That's right.
The event.
That's right.
The event took out 300 people. What do you mean an event?
Well, what about the Space Museum, too? That was pretty
man.
exciting.
Leo got to talk to John Glenn for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't believe it. It's the most amazing. It's huge. It's like a dirigible hangar. They just built it. They think they have like a third of what eventually is going to be hanging in there. It's incredible. Definitely go see the new National Air and Space Museum editions.
Also, when I took the 50 cal and we destroyed the Mac, that was awesome. The ballistics lab.
Did you get the Billy Bass?
What's that?
Did you guys get a Billy Bass too?
Yeah, we destroyed Billy Bass. The one that you could not destroy with your sledgehammer, we finally obliterated it. Nice. It was awesome.
It wasn't a sledgehammer. We used the intake manifold of an FJ40 Land Cruiser.
And you still couldn't destroy the Billy Bass.
It wouldn't die. I like the fact that it's dead.
That was fun, though. We had a good time.
Well, I think that's it. That's it for this very special Washington, D.C. edition of the Screensavers. On behalf of Patrick, Kevin, and Leo, and myself, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to all of our guests in this fabulous city. We'll see you back in San Francisco.
Stay tuned. Pulse next.